everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sydney. Today we are going to talk about 5 items that I do not sell on Poshmark. In the 5 years that I've been selling on Poshmark, these have just kind of accumulated into items that I just typically do not source. Of course, there are exceptions to everything, but just in general, these are items at the thrift store that I tend to avoid altogether. So let's get into the video. First, if you are new here, I hope that you will subscribe and like this video. Also, if you guys have something that you don't source, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear if you guys have items that you just don't buy, things that don't sell for you, or even things that tend to sell for other people but don't sell for you. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I love hearing from you guys and responding to your comments. They are just wonderful. Okay, so let's get into this video. Also, if you're new here, like I said, I've been selling on Poshmark for 5 years, and I was also a closet consultant at Posh Fest in Dallas. I've worked with a ton of people, helping them go from making no sales to making daily sales. Before we get into the video, I do want to thank everybody who has been participating in the nightly share parties in my share group. We have been doing these for the past couple nights during the final Posh party. So we have been sharing each other's listings and getting some more activity going on our closets, and it has shown and paid off big time. Again, I just want to thank everyone who's participating. If you're interested in joining the private share group and participating with us in the nightly share parties to kind of get some more promotion for your listings and to make more consistent sales, I would love to have you in the group. I will put the information on joining down in the description box and down in the comments. Okay, so let's talk about 5 items that I don't buy to sell on Poshmark. The first item that I don't buy to sell on Poshmark are basic skirts. So these are just plain Jane business skirts or maxi skirts, whatever kind of skirts. They're just not things that sell well for me. Again, like I said, there is an exception to this, and that is tennis skirts. But I kind of file that in the fitness category, not really under the skirts category, because most of them are just shorts with kind of a skirt overlay. So that's kind of my exception to this rule. But other than that, I don't really have any other exceptional skirts that I buy, unless they're obviously a known brand or you know, kind of like a trend that's happening. For instance, the other day I picked up a Rachel Parcell skirt at Goodwill. Rachel Parcell is a huge fashion blogger. She has a fashion line at Nordstrom, and she has a huge following that buy her items. So I did pick up that skirt and a new with tags Vineyard Vines one. Other than that, I haven't bought skirts in I don't know how long. I probably still have a few left over from when I didn't really know that skirts didn't sell very well. So I probably need to list those and try to at least break even on them. But skirts are just an item that do not sell for me. The next item that I don't buy to sell on Poshmark is heavy home decor. And I've seen this come up a few times now, where sellers have had customers go into their closet and bundle items that are exceptionally heavy. For instance, coffee mugs or heavy ceramic items, the ceramic Christmas houses that are really heavy. Several sellers that I've seen have had people go into their closets and bundle these items. And of course, you can upgrade your Poshmark label if your shipment goes over 5 pounds, but you cannot upgrade it past 10 pounds. So if the order goes over 10 pounds, you have to cancel the order, and that's money lost, because your seller probably is not going to purchase and pay individual shipping on each item unless they really want it. So that risks losing a sale. So I try to avoid buying really heavy home decor. Like, I'll buy regular coffee mugs, just not, you know, exceptionally heavy things. No heavy dishes, no heavy ceramic decor or anything like that. And if I do have anything that I feel is exceptionally bulky, I will put a disclaimer in my listing that says that the item is not eligible to be bundled, that it has to be purchased separately. So just be aware of what's happening in your Poshmark closet, have your notifications turned on, and make sure that your bundles never go over 10 pounds. If it goes over 5 pounds, you have to upgrade your shipping label, and that of course comes out of your earnings. The customer does not pay that extra shipping charge. So just be aware of the weight of the items that you're selling on Poshmark. The next thing I've stopped buying is kind of a category in general, but those are items that sell for less than $10. If I see an item and I contemplate it selling for less than $10, that to me is not worth my time to list. So unless you have like an accessory or some sort of private label item that you can list once and have multiple quantity, it really is not worth selling any items under $10. When you're trying to list these individual items that you're getting from thrift stores and you're listing them for under $10, it's just really not worth your time. And then keep in mind, if you want to do things like closet clear out, the item cannot go below $10 in order to trigger the shipping discount for closet clear out. So it's just not a really good practice to list anything $10 and under. So I try to avoid that. Even small jewelry, accessories, anything you want to sell for cheap, I price at $12 to $15. And then if somebody wants to bundle it, then you can then discount the item. I just try to avoid listing anything below $12. The next item that I try to avoid is juniors size items. These items are odd numbered items. They will have an odd numbered size, or they will be certain brands that are sold at like department stores and things like that. And you can just tell that it's not a women's item. Juniors items typically run very, very small. And they are for teenagers, of course. They're marketed for teenagers, and they're just not something that sell very well, just because of the way Poshmark's size interface is set up to where you have to choose the size. A lot of people just aren't searching for junior sizes that I've found or that I've noticed. I have had a few juniors items that I've listed and they just did not get much traffic at all. So, you know, anything that you feel like you would see in a department store juniors department, I would avoid getting. Anything with odd numbers usually is not really worth your time to list, just because people are not searching for these odd numbered sizes usually. You have to remember, even teenagers like to shop at places like American Eagle and Hollister and Abercrombie, and those places do not size their jeans in junior sizes. They are sizing them in regular sizes. Even though teenagers typically shop at these places, they are not junior size items. They are sized in a regular manner. They start at 0, 00, 2, 4, 6, 8. They're even numbers. So, you know, those are typically items that I will pick up, but anything that starts with like 1, 3, 5, 9, those items have just never sold very well for me, so I usually leave those items behind at the thrift store. The next item that I'm not selling on Poshmark are items that have no brand or no size. So this has a lot to do with the way that Poshmark's app is set up in terms of allowing people to search for items. People search for items by the brand and by the size. Poshmark is set up to default to what you have set to your size. So when you go into Poshmark and you are shopping and you search for an item, it will come up only showing the items that you have set under the My Size feature. So if you go into the My Size feature and you set your tops as a size medium, and you go into the shop tab and you're searching for a top, like you type in Lily Pulitzer top, it's only gonna show you the tops that are a size medium, because it's showing you things that are your size. This is so shoppers are not seeing items that are their size, that are not their size, and it's just an automatic filter that Poshmark puts on by default when you are searching for things. So if you have an item and it doesn't have a size on it and you're not able to list the size of the item, then people are not going to be able to see that item. It's not going to show up in search for them. So the exception to this is if you can figure out the size of the item. For example, a lot of Lululemon items have the tags ripped out of them. So you have to kind of figure out what size they are. And the way I do this is I measure the armpit to armpit measurement, and I will either compare that to the measurements in the size chart on the Lululemon website, or I will measure it and I will go into Poshmark or go into the eBay app and find a similar top and look at the measurements in the top, because I can usually gauge about what size their stuff is. And so I will find the item and then I will read the measurements on that size and compare that to my item. And in doing that, I can figure out, okay, well, you know, my item has a wider measurement, so it's not this size, and then I'll start looking at sizes increasing from there. So if you have an item like Lululemon where you can't find the size, measure it and then either compare it to the size chart on the manufacturer website or compare it to sizes of other listings on Poshmark or eBay. In terms of brand, it's very, very difficult to sell items that do not have brands. I know a lot of people sell a lot of vintage clothing. It's not that it's impossible to sell, but this makes it increasingly more difficult. If an item doesn't have a brand, or if it doesn't have a well-known brand that people are actively searching for. You will notice if you list an item that doesn't have a brand, it will not get as much traffic as items that do have brands. So that is when you have to do a little bit more work in terms of your keywords, your styles, things like that, and then promoting it on social media and things, you know, other platforms, and driving your traffic that way. But typically, if an item does not have a brand, it's usually not worth picking up because it's probably not going to sell. Again, Poshmark is set up to show people popular brands, so you know, it's gonna favor the items that have a brand and a size listed in the listing. If it doesn't have a brand or doesn't have a size, it's going to be very difficult for that item to show up in Poshmark's search and in Poshmark's algorithm. So it's not that they're impossible to sell, they are just going to be very, very difficult to sell due to the fact that they will not show up in the search results. Okay, so this is my video on things that I'm not selling on Poshmark. I hope it helped you. If it did, definitely leave me a comment below and let me know. And I hope you will subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.